I'm Chris Murphy.
And I'm Jennifer Logan.
And we're the Community Theater Heroes.
We host a weekly podcast where we interview theater companies,
actors,
casting directors,
playwrights,
composers,
and other theater artists to give our listeners helpful advice, tips, and insight for their own careers.
And life in general, because we believe that live theater has the power to make the world a better place.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Community Theater Heroes podcast.
In this episode, we interview actor Craig Fitzpatrick. You may have recently seen Craig perform in Every Christmas Story Ever Told and then some at the Twilight Theater in Portland, Oregon.
Craig talks about his experiences working in the Community Theater of New York, what his process for learning lines is, and how to be a great actor to work with.
Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Today,
Craig Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Who the heck is Craig?
Who is Craig?
Who is this guy, right?
Fitz who?
See him on the
Fitz
on the back of a milk carton, and everyone's
Fitzy?
talking about him. Who am I? I'm
Who are you?
The existential.
Get meta.
So we're gonna start this podcast. Who are you? Like, what are some of your hopes and dreams, your inner demons?
Who is Craig to Craig?
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'd say
Oh?
I'd say like I've said before, like the bastard love child of Henry Rollins and Robin Williams, and that's a bit flattering.
wow.
That's a bit flattering, right?
Just a bit.
Just a wee bit.
Tiny bit.
But I guess that's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
Trying for, yeah.
Yeah, like if... Okay.
Yeah.
It's pulling off. You're pulling off.
You're pulling it off well. Craig Fitzpatrick gives the best hugs.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
He rides a scooter too.
He
ride a
came in
scooter.
here with a scooter.
Scooter, yeah.
And a helmet because...
Safety
first, right? Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so I know you from the Christmas show, which was incredible.
Well, thank you so much.
And then I also ran into you just kind of as a mutual friend of a friend and audiences and stuff like that. How long have you been in the Portland area?
It was January 2014 as we moved. Yeah.
Okay, your wife and your
Yeah,
family.
and my two kids, and we moved from New York City.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What part of New York City?
We were in Astoria, Queens.
I love Astoria.
How do you know
Astoria?
Astoria?
I'm from Boston.
Yeah.
So I just
Okay.
over there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen's a bit of a gypsy. She's
Yeah.
traveled around.
So
That's
okay,
awesome.
so why did you guys move out here?
Well, Jennifer and I, we met in undergrad in
He's
Nebraska.
got great taste.
Met in undergrad in Omaha, Nebraska, and the initial idea was we wanted to go to Seattle to pursue acting careers because at that time Seattle was the independent film capital of the world.
Yeah.
But we found out that everyone that was getting cast in Seattle had to go to New York.
Oh.
So this is back in 2000.
Stop tapping the mic.
I'm doing a soft shoe back
I
here.
wish I knew what he was saying.
Right. No. But and then the crazy thing was we finished college and we loaded up the moving truck on September 9th, 2001.
Oh, so
Getting ready to move, and then all of a sudden
big deal.
the attacks happened. It's like, interesting. And I was totally I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna stay here in Omaha and maybe get a job at police dispatch and stuff like that. And then everyone was like, Omaha still will be here. Go to New York. So it was actually a pretty cool time to go to the city. The city was healing, so you'd be getting on a train.
So when did you get into the city?
October 1st. It was 2 weeks later. Yeah.
How was the air quality at that point? Was it
I
heard a lot of things.
We were way up north and in Midtown. We went down once or twice, to see it, but I think that the news presented a certain, and I'm not to say that the people that were working there by all means have every right to be upset, and they were lied to about that. But where we were in northern Manhattan and in Midtown, the air quality wasn't as bad as at the site. But I do think that the news was kind of it was giving this image of almost like war-torn Afghanistan, and stuff like that. I mean, it was terrifying, but it was crazy. You'd get on the train, and there'd be a little old woman like getting on with a cane, and this huge dude be like, "Yo, grandmama, you got a bad hip, girl. You sit down. You sit down now. Go, everybody." So there was like this really sweet, like everyone was looking out for each other.
Right.
That went away after 3 months.
Well, yeah.
But
I'm like, wow, my version of New York City is not that
was
version.
not
Get out of the way.
Yeah,
Get out of the way. Where you going? Figure it out.
Right.
Sorry. I'll tone it down. Sorry.
But yeah, so it was good for us to be there at that time to kind of gradually.
Yeah.
When did you start getting involved in theater there? Did you get involved in
Yeah,
theater?
yeah. So, and this is the thing that sucked is, I think for me at least, that September 11th made me so terrified that, we were there for 13 years, and I don't feel that I ever pursued acting hard enough, because there was always that terror of what's going to happen if this happens, what's going to happen. So,
did you guys have kids at that point too?
We at the end, our kids were 2 and 5, I think, when we moved. But even before then, and it was one of those things too. It's like once I had kids, I was like, what the hell was I, waiting for? Like, now I've got like someone that really depends on me, but like before that, I should have been
no excuse.
No excuse for that. Like beating on every door to do auditions and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's interesting how that changes your perspective. You're like, oh, I thought I multitasked before.
Yeah. Oh no.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Did
Right.
I? Yeah.
Is this the future for me?
This is,
Kids
welcome. Yeah, bang your doors down now, kiddo, because let me tell you what, you are functioning off of potty breaks in between podcasts.
She's already given me like a time limit, like, okay, before I'm 30. So
yeah.
How long
she's
do you have?
27 now.
Oh, you've got
You got 3 years
to
to become famous and powerful and corrupt.
All right.
Yeah, right.
3 years.
This is great.
Easy.
Living the dream.
Plenty of time.
This podcast was gonna sell hard. Let me tell you what. Yeah.
So what was theater like at that time in New York when you lived there?
It was good. And one of the things that we were fortunate with is there was a theater called Vital Theater, which is still going strong now. That was one of Jennifer's first jobs, as she got an administration job there. And Vital was awesome. They would do children's shows in the afternoon on the weekends, and that would, a lot of times it was like the tickets we sold there would afford to do experimental theater.
Nice.
And stuff like that. So and they were doing all original pieces, but there was an awesome community. Steven Sunderland, Sean Hirabayashi, and there was just a whole bunch of really great people, and it was one of those things where you just realize like this is like we're sitting at the cool kids table, and they like us, but there was just it was just a great group of actors and directors and writers.
How is Portland's theater scene different in its positive realms and in its negative realms? Sure.
I think one of the things is it's just like you couldn't speak a dead cat in New York without someone saying, "Hey, I'm doing a show. It's going to be at the washroom in the basement of my building." It's and stuff like that. Like it was just everywhere. But at the same time, there was like so much that a lot of times like great things weren't getting seen, or you just wouldn't hear about it. You just there's stuff that's going on right now that more people are not even going to hear about it than So I think I don't know. It feels that there's more, in a weird way, that it feels like there's a little bit more opportunities here.
Okay, so kind of like a smaller pool to kind of navigate.
Pool, but there's. I mean, I'm always surprised by how much like someone says, "Oh, I'm part of this. Have you heard of them?" I'm like, I haven't. Where are they? And then you find out about the theater. It's like, oh my gosh, this has been around forever. I know people that have done it. So, and not to say that people in New York were mean, but I'm surprised and touched by how supportive the community is here. That they're just that there's just good people and understanding. Having 2 kids, there were a couple times with rehearsals and it was just like I don't know how I'm going to do this, and everyone's like, well, you can bring them.
Yes,
that's great.
And it's like, are you kidding me? And I was just like, and like, but I was just always surprised and shocked by how understanding everyone at Portland is, that I've at least worked with.
Yeah, I've also had really good experiences. And I mean, as we are recording this right now. My son's in another room.
Right.
Running back and forth, most likely. He pulled down, in the first 10 minutes, he pulled down some of the window dressings.
Okay, there
It's
you
like,
go.
no.
You know, we whenever she's scolding Ryder, her son, like, I don't know if she's playing a character or if she's being serious, because she puts on this voice and like everything changes. I'm like, is she doing a bit? I think she's.
You
doing
know what
a
it
bit.
is?
I don't know what's going on.
Well, there's the mom voice that you have to put on. I'm sure you have a dad voice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, where it comes out and it's business time. But then there's also, because I'm from Boston, there's like a.
That's absolutely what it is.
I'm
puts on her
able
Boston
to
accent.
East Coast. Yeah.
And I think only because we're so accustomed to adjusting our vocal patterns for acting that I've lost most of it. But if I'm drunk or if I'm tired or if he pulled down the window dressing in the first 5 minutes of this podcast thing, I'm like, hey, Ryder! Oh, sorry, I won't start that. What's the matter with you? You know?
Right.
Get it together. Yeah. So. Oh, this is so much fun. I wish we had more time.
We have so much more time still. Craig, so you just did the Christmas show here at Twilight. How was that? I really wanted to check it out.
It was a lot of fun when we got on stage. It was for me, I had such a tough time with the character. I had I had an amazing director, and it came down to, and this is just like such basic acting, is I was working with Rob Harris and Greg Schilling, who are, these incredible. I mean, they're just forces
I worked
of
with
nature.
Greg for The Normal Heart. Greg's was
and he's just intrinsically funny, and all the characters are supposed to be funny, and it's that terrible, like actor insecurity, like, I'm not being funny enough, so I'm gonna make this funny.
Yeah, and
which
it's
makes
not
it
funny.
awful. It's just like all of a sudden it turns into like Eugene O'Neill, and it's like, wait, no, this is not. And but it was a reminder of just you have to make, if you make the other people on stage look good, they will make you look good. And but just trusting the material, trusting the director. And the other thing too is this is such a cliche of like, how do you learn all those lines? And it's like, but actually for this one, wordy. It was disgusting how many words there were.
So
and
wordy.
It's fast in between, boom, 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 boom. And some of the back and forth, there's similar things that like it will reference, and it's easy, like you're going and when you weren't feeling secure with the lines, to all of a sudden either jump a couple pages or revert back. And so sometimes we kind of get into that whole thing where you're just trying to
navigate your way out of
get the boat upright again. And
what is your process for learning lines? I mean, everyone asks me that.
That's a good
and I like picking other actors' brains because we all have a different process.
I think once you understand what the character wants, I think that's the first thing, and then that kind of helps. But like,
where's the scene going?
And then and I've never had an issue, obviously, with I've never had an issue. Obviously, I've never had an issue.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Right. But with that much, it was a lot of literally like writing it out by hand.
Yeah,
so you
I
just
do
Chris
that.
does that too.
take it by a chunk. Rob Harris taught me a great trick where you just, and I've done this before, but never this way, but you flip your script upside down.
Interesting.
And you read it upside down, and it forces you to kind of go over it a little bit slower. And then what you'll find too is, I'm guilty of this sometimes, is I will try to take my own vocal patterns and put it in, and that might not. Sometimes you're lucky in like, you look at a script and it is just like reading music. It's like, this is great. I'm just going to go surfing. And it's going to take me. But there's other times when, for whatever reason, if it's not clicking with you, you find the spots where you're trying to include an and or change the word, and then it's just like, so it makes your mistakes a little bit more apparent, and it forces you to look at what you're changing. Whereas again, I might have it flipped upside down, and I'm reading it so fast I'm not picking up on my correction. Excuse me, Mr. Miller. I'm going to rewrite this Death of a Salesman for you. So that was helpful, but it was a lot of writing out by hands. And then for me, I'm very visual and kinesthetic, so I had to do a lot of the. If I had learned something wrong, I have to reprogram it into my body, and
blocking too.
Blocking,
That was huge.
the blocking, and I had to. What was the other thing? There was certain things where I had to draw. It was almost like, you know, those like games you used to play as a kid, where it'd be like, if it was Yankee Doodle Dandy, it would have like a picture of someone yanking and then someone drawing a doodle or something like that, you know, like that. I'd have to make like my script was a whole bunch of drawings at the bottom.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So it was like visual, like pictures, and that I'll remember. Or when I was writing it, if I wrote it with like a crazy font, like that visual would I would remember that much better, and also just getting the muscle memory into it. Yeah,
that is really interesting. That the picture thing.
Yeah, well, it sounds like, because I've got a photographic memory, so I picture words on the page. But I have to picture the words on the page. Yeah. And sometimes what I'll do is, there's an app that I have, I think it's called like, I don't know, Script Free Reader or something. And it gives you, you know what? If this is on, it's legitimately, you can, it's called Script Rehearser. Script Rehearser.
It's written by a pirate.
But like, I mean, it'll give you the option to, you can record your monologues, or you can record like scenes A and B, and then they'll stop. It'll like give you a pause so you can go back. Like you can do A, B, cool. A, B. Yeah, it was really cool. So if I do that, if I listen to it while I'm looking at the paper, it cements it for me too. Yeah.
So, are there any shows coming up in Twilight season that you're interested in?
Oh my God. One of my favorite shows of all times is Private Eyes by Stephen Dietz. You talk about a script. Like Stephen Dietz, that man writes, and you read it, and it's like the character it's a three-dimensional. I mean, you just have to. I mean, it's
what is it called again?
Private Eyes.
I just read it a couple weeks ago. And I was confused half the time.
Yeah.
It's really confusing.
Yes.
Yes. And I still don't know if I like it. It's a weird play.
Yes.
It's really weird.
A play within a play within a play within dementia within a play. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty wild. It is easily one of my top 5.
Is it?
Yeah, and
what do you want to audition for? Which role?
I've played Matthew before, and I would love to do that. It's one of my favorite. I mean, it's just, and it's again, but that was another play where it's a lot. I mean, the play is short. It's only like 65 pages. I think,
but there's so much to it.
There's so much to it, and Matthew has huge chunks of the lines, but the way it is written. It's just it gets into your bones so easy. You know what he's feeling. You know what.
When they
it's like, oh sense. My gosh, yeah. So you're I'm not saying you're on autopilot, but you have the great. He gives you like the GPS. Like no, I mean it's just like bam. Yeah.
I read that one of your favorite plays is The Last Days of Jesus Iscariot.
Oh my God!
That is actually how we met. We did a production of that.
Yeah, I was Cunningham.
I played Satan. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's my favorite one too. He is actual friends, Facebook friends with Stephen Adler-Gurgis. I know. Are you okay?
Sometimes he likes things I post.
I get upset.
Like, it's kind of cool.
By the time
I don't think he really knows me, but
I don't care. Let's pretend.
He's only allowed, like, I think 500 friends or something.
It was years ago. I'm like,
maybe he'll accept my friend request. It was like 6 years ago.
Because he's not mainstream enough for, like, people to be like, oh, Denzel Washington. 800,000.
I was going to say, I think the role of Satan is another one. Like,
Isn't it beautiful?
It's one of the best roles.
It's my favorite.
The role that it meant the most to me out of any role.
Yeah. Yes.
For sure.
I got to do...
who were you in that show?
I was Satan, but this was just for a reading for...
Was
Philip,
Philip, for Life and Arts?
Life and Arts.
Yes.
To do it.
Yes.
And it was, I was shaking afterwards. It was such a satisfying thing, and it was so upsetting because we did one performance. And it's just like, don't give me one shot of heroin and just say, that's enough. It's just like, but that, I would throw my own grandmother down a flight of stairs and do that role again. Like,
we ran that show. We did it in college, but then we did it in LA through the college.
It was a really interesting thing. Mark Branner actually came up with the concept.
He teaches in Hawaii now.
Yeah, he does. The University of Hawaii. At the time, he had this idea where there were these adjunct professors that were, because that's honestly sometimes how you got to pay your bills in LA. These really professional actors that are like graduate degrees, but they're teaching part-time, and then they are they're able to act, and that kind of, the teaching like 3 classes a week allows them to do this. So they all got together, and Mark Branner pitched this idea to double cast The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, and there would be a student cast, and then there would be a faculty cast.
But then we'd mix where we'd perform with the faculty.
Yes, so you're performing with these guys.
It was amazing.
And one of the things that was so great about it is because we had another, I can never know how to pronounce his name, so correct me if it's wrong. Stefan Wolfert. Stefan Wolfert. He had this really like LA kind of gritty, like your Manhattan theaters that you're talking about, where it's like a furniture store. It's above a furniture store.
Oh yeah.
like
it's 30 seats, maybe 20, 30 seats, maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's as big as this room that we're in right now, which is small.
Yeah.
It was very intimate.
And just a catwalk down the middle is what we performed on.
Yeah.
It was wild.
The way he decided to, because it's maybe like, it was probably 2.5 sizes of these rooms, which is not very big, probably
that's tiny.
Yeah, a
for those
modest
at home,
kitchen.
This is a 4 by 5 foot room.
We are in each other's laps.
Right.
But he had this idea where they built, instead of doing it like, okay, so just imagine this room but built out to scale.
Yeah.
Instead of putting the action right here, he built a catwalk that the prosecutor and the defense, so the audience is sitting on either side like this, watching this whole thing happen. It was incredible. It was such an intimate space, and it brought. One of my favorite moments actually is when he was playing Satan on stage, and the prosecution and the defense are kind of off to the side, and so because it's such.
Are you talking about the shoe?
Yes.
Okay.
So like because of such an intimate space, like there's sometimes an audience member right here, and I have to be in character. So and he is in this chair on this platform as Satan. And the chair falling off. Oh, my chair's about to fall off. I was kind of leaning back, and the audience member. He was so concerned that he actually got to the point where he was like, he touched me, miss, his chair. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what an interesting thing to make a choice. Like, am I engaging with him?
Yeah, right.
You're touching me. Like, and you had to stay in character the whole time.
I can totally see you as Satan, though, Craig. Like, if you don't know the play, read the play. Read it. Read
the play. You won't
very
hesitate.
colorful language, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
The Last
amazing.
One thing I liked about it, too, is I've given it to friends that are atheists.
Yeah.
I've given it to people that are super religious.
Yeah.
And both of them love it. And
They
both of them,
love
like, it kind of brings out
Oh,
the
absolutely.
questions and
yes, it creates a dialogue, and it's really just about love.
Yes.
At the end of it, it's about love.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
remember we'd perform it, and we were just weeping afterwards.
The
closing
weeping.
scene.
Especially, when Jesus washes
Yeah.
Judas' feet. It's just so
Yeah.
intense.
It was-
just give me goosebumps.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know,
I'm
me
getting
too.
out goose fleshy on my arms.
It's and our director made the choice that like the costume, he wanted Jesus to be a homeless man.
Yeah.
So like he the dynamic. I could talk for hours.
Yeah.
The
Judas Iscariot podcast.
But we gotta wrap up soon.
I
But
know,
let's,
I'm so
I want to
sorry.
hear what is. Do you have a terrible audition moment?
Do I?
You would share with us.
Do I?
We've been kind of wrapping up
pick?
each episode with this. So.
Sure.
What is your nightmare?
This was, I think, like the second year I was in there. I through a friend, they got me on audition for Law and Order. Like the and this was not like a permanent, spot or anything like that, but it would have been a featured character. And I remember the first time going into, and it was like at this huge cattle call. First time going into a room, and I saw 15 Craig Fitzpatricks. Really? And it was just like, oh my gosh, oh my god, I do that. Why am I'm like, and it was really jarring at first. And I go in there and I read, and the woman that was the casting agent, she was really sweet. And after I read, she looked at me and she's like, "Be honest, have you done this before?" And I was like, "Honestly, no." And she's like, "I can tell that you're doing really good, and I think you have a really strong shot at this. So I want to help you." Aww. So she was very kind, and then you had to come back and audition for another person, and she'd kind of give me pointers. She's like, "If you just do what you did with me, you're gonna be fine. We're gonna read it in this order." And so there was like 3 scenes that you had to read, and so again, like the numbers kind of get smaller, and you start to get excited, and it's just like you hit one. You get through one room, but it's just like I still don't have the role. But so it's that weird kind of like excitement. So I get down, I think it was like me and maybe 2 other guys. And I go into the room, and it's and she's like looking at me like, you're gonna be fine. And she's introducing me to like the different executives. And Dick Wolf, who, if you've ever seen Law & Order, is like, created by Dick Wolf. And stuff like this. And she goes, and then like the last person is like, hello, and this is Mr. Wolf. And I go, hey, Dick! Like that. Now, I don't know if this is what happened. But I saw that like the other executives are kind of like all of a sudden they put like a pin in their mouth and they're looking down at an angle.
They close their
and they kind of
folder.
squirm a little bit and stuff like that. And at that point, like it could have been something they could have had like had chili right before. And they just didn't want to fart really loud, so they're just kind of like trying to hold in their farts or whatever like that. But so anyway, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, hello, my name is Craig. I like to smell my fingers. And then she's like looking at me in the camera set up, and she's like, you'll read to me. And I looked at her, I'm like, you or camera? Like, I'm literally not saying words. I'm just making vowel noises. Like, and she's like, look at me. I literally dropped.
Decomposed.
Yeah, right?
Everything you'd worked for.
I dropped the script on the floor. I picked it up, and I'm like, which one are we doing first? And she's like, you need to take your head out of the microwave. It's affecting your brain. But so anyways, and like and like at that point, my anxiety. I mean, I was like, the paper is just like this. And like I don't know what I'm saying. Like I'm waiting for her to finish her line, and then I'm like reading her line, and I'm looking back up her, like, oh, that's your line. This is my line. This isn't yours. So no.
She put so much in this.
Yeah, she put so much. And surprise, surprise, I did not get the part. Can you believe it?
Hi, Dick.
Hi, Dick.
Lessons for the actors at home.
Well, thank you so much, Craig, for being on our podcast.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed this episode.
Oh man,
And I think we look forward to seeing you probably in Private Eyes this year.
I hope so.
Are you in anything?
I will be doing the one-man version of Private Eyes. No,
It'll be reading in my house.
there's some auditions coming up that I'm going out for. There's some projects.
Yeah.
That are still a little hush-hush because I'm going to be getting paid a lot of money. A lot of money.
So much money.
But no, I'm teasing. But yeah, I'm excited for what's up next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Craig.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's our show. Thank you so much for listening.
We want to give a big thanks to Craig for being on the show and to Twilight Theater for allowing us to feature them on our show this month.
If you have been enjoying this podcast so far, we hope that you will let us know by commenting on our Facebook page, leaving a positive review on iTunes, or commenting or subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Also, if you have any questions or topics you would like us to discuss on upcoming episodes, please email us at communitytheaterheroes@gmail.com.
Want to learn more about us, be interviewed on the podcast, or find out some more about our upcoming contests? Then please visit communitytheaterheroes.com.